This video is going to be another episode in the hollow-handled Rambo knife series, and by popular viewer demand, we're going to revisit a knife we took a look at several years ago on the channel, the Shrade SCHF1. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. So as I said, this is going to be another edition of the Rambo knife series where we take a look at several different hollow-handled survival knives in a wide range of prices. One thing that's been constant throughout the series is that several people have asked me, what about the Shrade SCHF1? And we took a look at this knife again, gosh, 3 or 4 years ago on the channel. That may have even been before I started doing balance testing. So this may be a chance to do that with this knife. And of all the knives we've looked at on the series, this is the only one that is made of a solid single piece of 1070 high carbon steel. So what I thought we'd do in this video, for consistency's sake, we're going to put the Shrade SCHF1 through the exact same testing procedure we've done all the other Rambo knives in the series, and then we're going to put it on the old balance orientation and rotation device and make sure that this thing is balanced. We'll do all that coming up right after this word from one of our sponsors. This video is sponsored by my friends at Sportsman's Guide, your one-stop shop for all kinds of gear pertaining to camping, survival, and general preparedness. I've been a customer for Sportsman's Guide for a number of years now. I'm happy to have them as a sponsor for the channel. I encourage you to check them out. I think you'll be glad you did. Okay, we are back, so without any more rambling, let's get down to the old stump top and get to doing some of that knife stuff. Okay, so here we are with the Shrade SCHF1. And let's just talk about the specs of this real quick before we start doing the actual knife stuff. First of all, this is again a one-piece knife. It's forged of one piece of steel. That is 12 3/4 inches overall length. For those of you still stuck in that old metric system, yeah, you know who you are. That's 32.3 centimeters long. Features a 7.5 inch blade, or 19 centimeters, and a 5 1/4 inch hollow handle of 13.3 centimeters. This thing weighs 1.2 pounds, 17.8 ounces, or 504 grams. So there's that. You can see the SCHF1 has a serrated edge on it. This thing was available in 4 different versions. I don't know if it still is or not. I know this is available on Blade HQ right now for 65 bucks, and it's in stock. Amazon, you have to go to other sellers, and BTI's website, which is the new owners of Shrade, it says it's out of stock, so you might want to get on it if you want to get one of these. And I've been told, by the way, this is kind of like a knockoff, I guess, of a Chris Reeves knife. He had several different hollow handled versions. If you find one of those, it'll be used and it'll be very expensive. So anyway, this has a hollow handle on it with an O-ring seal, and it's about as long as my finger. So I'm gonna say that's about 2.5 to 3 inches, and I could probably get my thumb in there, so it's about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. But it is one piece. And then when you buy this thing, it's going to have a toolkit on it. I've taken the toolkit off and I have no idea where it is, but it has a bunch of bits in it, and you can use it in a little bit holder. And so if you want to screwdriver, different type screwdriver and type bits, if that's your thing, then you might want to leave it in here. I saw no use for that as far as in a woods knife, an outdoor knife, so I took it out, and it is now long gone. I've had this knife for a few years now, like I said, and it has a hexagon shaped head, and it's got a lanyard hole running through it. And it's kind of a spear point design. It's not a double-edged, but it's definitely a spear point. And so there's a lot of smooth blade here before the serrations start. And then it's kind of got this little built-in finger guard there, a nice kind of knurled checkered handle, some little flats here. It is a completely round handle, but it's got pretty good grip on it. And you can just see, I mean, it is forged one piece there. So that's pretty cool, I think. So that's kind of the specs and details of the knife. Let's get doing some of that knife stuff. So just like we've done on all the rest of them, we're going to do a little chopping here. And this has a, it feels like a hollow grind to me, which is not surprising because this thing is made in China. And it is pretty sure it's China. It might be Taiwan. I'm pretty sure it's China, but I don't have the box to tell you for sure. But we're just going to chop a little bit on this and see. And if I remember correctly, it didn't do really that well with all the chopping. It doesn't have a lot of mass to it. Okay, so quite honestly, it's not the greatest chopper in the world. Doesn't have a lot of forward mass. There's more mass in the handle than there is in the blade, so you don't have a lot of inertia and momentum from the handle. The hollow grind's not a great chopper anyway, typically, but it's not designed to be an axe, so it did okay for what we're doing here. Let's do a little quick batoning, and again, this is not going to be anything spectacular because this is a small piece of wood. That's kind of what we did with all the rest of them, so let's just see. I know when I did the initial test, and I'll put a link to that video in the description, we batoned something a lot bigger than this, I'm sure. But I just want to get it down to where we can maybe get inside. Still a little damp out here. It was raining the other day, and you know, that's really what I see as a reason for batoning. Either for making a fireboard or something, or just getting into some dry wood. So, but let's see how well this thing will carve some feathers. Now, it does have the serrations here, so I'm going to try to get beyond them, which means you don't have quite as much leverage, but let's turn you around. Okay, well actually, that is not too shabby. And this is the factory edge. I've not touched it, and again, this is probably 3 or 4 years old. Not used it that much, but it's got a good edge on it. I gotta say, that was a little uncomfortable. My hand kind of jumped up there, so I'm trying to get leverage way up here beyond the serrations. Let's go ahead and chop that off though. We'll set that there, and then we'll. I just want to play with these serrations for a minute and see if we can get any feathers from there, because Magnus Anderson does an excellent job with serrations and feathers. I am not as good with them, but he's also using a Gerber. I don't know if the serrations are from the other side of the blade or not, which could matter. But you know, actually, these serrations are doing pretty good here. So that's the feathers from the serrated blade. And this is the first knife that we've looked at in the series that has a serrated blade. So there's that. Now, what should we try next? Oh, I have an idea. You know, it's been so long since I did the video, and in order to not bias myself on this video, I didn't watch the old one, so I don't remember what I did and didn't do on it, or how well the knife performed, because I didn't want to bias myself here. So kind of treating this like a new review. Let's just see. We'll plant that thing right in the middle and see if it... Okay, so it strikes a ferro rod pretty well. Finally. There's that. Okay, well that was the practical portion of the knife review. It's time to move on to the scientific portion of the knife review. And as you may be aware, here at Survival on Purpose Worldwide headquarters, we maintain a cutting-edge, state-of-the-art knife testing facility. In one of the knife testing stations, we always like to put at least fixed blade through, is the balance, orientation, and rotation device. We're going to do that right now. We're going to check and see how well this thing is balanced. I don't remember if I did this on the first review or not, so we're going to for sure do it on this one. So let's see how she flies. First shot. This sucker is pretty well balanced. Okay, honestly, I know you're not going to believe this, but I sort of did that on purpose. I wanted to at least get one bad hit to see if this thing would bend or mess up or whatever, because like I said, I couldn't remember if I did it on the original review, and it is completely unharmed through the miscalibrated throw. Another banger, still in perfect, excellent shape, nothing bent, broken, or messed up. Okay, we're going to call this unbalanced, and since I forgot to do it earlier, now's as good a time as any to show you the sheath. So this thing comes with this a ballistic nylon sheath with a plastic insert in it, and basically it's ambidextrous because the blade is symmetrical, so it really doesn't matter which way you put it in. It just goes in like so. Has a snap closure on it here. It's got a little pouch on it. You can put survival gear in or whatever you want to put in here. I believe it comes empty. Got a little lanyard inside. I put the lanyard in there, so that's got a buckle on it. And this pouch, by the way, is removable if you don't want it. You just pop it off the back. It's got this kind of molly attachment thing back here, a little ring down here. The pouch has a buckle on it, a little plastic buckle, and then the belt loop is kind of one of these with a Velcro there and come here. So it is Velcro, but it's pretty stinking secure, and a little leg lanyard here, and that's it. So that's the Shrade SCHF1, and honestly I had to dig this out of a backpack that I had stored it in, and I'm really glad I did, because I gotta say, of all the knives that we've looked at in this series so far, again, this is the only one that is made out of one solid piece of steel. So, and the weakness is always the on a hollow handle knife, typically the weakness is at that blade joint right there, because it's not full tang. I guess you could call this full tang because it's all one thing. So I like the fact that it has a waterproof O-ring sealed plug on the end of it, and it's got a pretty good size. You can see a pretty good sized cavity there. That's about, like I said, 3/4 inch by 3 inches or so. You could put some good matches in there. Let's just try something. You can put a mini Bic, will fit right in there. So the mini Bic will fit in there. You can put some stormproof matches in there. You can fit a pretty good bit of little stuff in there. It's just handy to have. And then the sheath has got the little pouch on it. You can put some more stuff in. So I think this is a pretty slick knife, and this may be the final video in the series. We're going to see. I had several people ask me about an A-Tor Jungle King, which is a Spanish knife. I think it's supposed to be a pretty good knife. That people have said it's just a really strong version. Still in production. It's about $200. So I've contacted those folks to see if they want to send me one to review. Also contacted Randall Knives. They've got a they have a hollow handle version too, and they sent me a prompt reply that said they were really backed up on military and civilian orders and didn't have any testing samples to send. So I appreciate that. I also contacted some other people with some really high-end knives. The guy that actually, the Lyle knives, the actual Rambo knife, and hadn't heard back from them. It's about a $2,000 knife. If they've seen any of my videos, I'm not really optimistic about them sending me one to balance test. We may do some more, but we're going to do a roundup very soon of the ones we've looked at. It's kind of a head-to-head comparing them. I'd be interested to see what your thoughts are on how these knives stack up against each other. I got to say right now, and I thought the one I looked at last time was the Boker Aparo was a really solid, and it is a really solid knife, but I gotta say the Shrade $65 model is stacking up pretty stinking good right now. So I know a lot of people don't like the serrations, but they don't really bother me that much. I think they could come in handy. I kind of wish they didn't have them, just because I like a good smooth edge, but they didn't seem to affect the functionality, at least on the testing I did. So anyway, I'll stop rambling. If you're interested in getting one of these, I'll put a link. I think Blade HQ is one place I know still has them for $65 or so, at least at the time of this video. I'll put a link to that in the description below, and any other places I can find them. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm having a lot of fun making this series. I hope you're having fun watching it. I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my weekly newsletter, survivalonpurpose.com/subscribe, where not only will you get a video every week with all the previous week's videos in case YouTube does not notify you, but also that gives me a chance to stay connected with you, let you know about any cool deals or opportunities coming up, and some special things I'm putting together for the subscribers to the newsletter. We're going to be doing a few special things coming up over the next few months, so if you want to be able to take advantage of those and stay connected, once again, you can go to survivalonpurpose.com/subscribe, or just click the little square box with a knife in it. That'll take you there too. I really appreciate your support. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.